Hey guys, this is Ken A. This is Stoner Cam Review. I think it's episode 4 or 5. I don't know. I've had some time off and just been busy working, so I'm back and I'm kind of trying to talk about this camera here. If you can't tell what this is, because you can't tell what the model number is, this is a Nikon FE, and I'm going to go over a bit about what I like about this camera. What are some of the best things I know about this camera and why I think this is probably the camera for anyone who is into shooting film out of all the manual Nikon cameras. Okay. So I've owned the F3 FM2. This one here is a Nikon FM, like I said. And I found this one to be one of the easiest cameras to use out of all the manual Nikon cameras outside of the professional F3, F4, etc. cameras. If you're not into the big bulky cameras, you want a light manual film body, these are great. Here are some of the reasons why I think it is one of the best manual cameras out there. If you're looking to shoot a manual camera and you're starting out, first, this might be a mini little lesson on loading film, but I'm going to load a film. We'll film in here, guys, and let you guys see how this whole thing works. Mini tutorial on shooting film. What I also like about the FM2, or the FE2, the shutter is a more substantial steel, metal type shutter, not the ultralight aluminum shutter like the FM2. And I like it because it just has that, doesn't quite have like the silky thud that silk curtains, cloth curtains have. But it's still like a substantial metal shutter that it's kind of a lot like European car door versus like a Japanese car door. I don't know, but I've always thought the aluminum titanium shutters on the FEs and the FM2s were a little too tinny. Has a solid, nice weight to these shutters, and it's a very satisfying click. So, load some film. Got some Fuji Superior 200s. Whoa, it's weird loading like this, but get this guy in here, pull this guy across. You might see a little slit there that you stick your film in. Tricky to do at this angle. But there's a bottom knob here that you kind of pull it a little bit so that it gets a little good action. As long as you get that in there, you can kind of almost just go with a quick, whoa, that was the door. Go with a quick pull. It should grab the camera, lead in, close the door without hitting the lens. That's it, you're in. So what you might want to do, here's a tip, just going to wind that a little bit back until you start feeling like a light tension. Not too hard, but like a light tension. You start feeling some resistance. Close that up, and we're at what? Let me see. We're at S, so you just want to crank this guy. You'll have to fire the shutter to advance. So fire that, but you can see that? You see that go? That's when you know your film is loaded, lead in, and it's locked, ready to wind to where you need to put it. So we're going to go to 1 here on this dial. Boom, we're ready to shoot. So, aside from being really easy to load, the FE2 is also, can't tell because this is black and white, it's brass. This is brassing. Took a little sandpaper to go to it because I kind of want to see the brass and how it kind of wears over time. I love brass on a camera. The FM might be brass, but I'm really not sure if the FE2 or the FM series cameras are brass cameras. And it's one of the nice, really nice, brass camera just looks beautiful. slight brassing, the wear and tear, the patina, it's great. Another benefit of brass, and a lot of cameras don't use brass anymore. I don't know why, but it's very impact resistant. It's out of most metals. Magnesium alloy, I believe, is really strong. But brass has some give, and here are some of the benefits to brass. I do this a fair bit. I would go to the find like used, and I think these are BW filters. Find them used. Find these filters used. Take the UV out with a hammer, sledgehammer, and you put the filter back on here. I'm not a fan of UV filters. I can see some uses to them. One particular reason I might use an UV is if I'm shooting in the rain and I need something on there for protection. Not only just the gear itself, but sometimes it gets raining to a point where you have to take the UV filter off, take a shot, put the UV filter back on, and wait for another opportunity to shoot. So don't use UVs all that much, but I do like these rings. Not a lot of UV filter rings are brass, but BW makes these brass rings, which has saved this lens. I dropped it on a D700 body, straight to the floor, snap strapped, and this is the damage it took. I had to bend this back a little bit, but the thing is, the brass ring went in and absorbed most of the impact, and my lens it still works. It's still in great shape. It's this brass ring has paid itself once already, and there's proof. So brass is a really nice metal, and it certainly doesn't get appreciated much on a camera, but the FE2 is the FE is brass. I like the fact that there isn't a model name on this. It kind of has that clean look that older Nikon cameras have, and it's gone. This is back to an era where they didn't slap labels on everything. It just looks beautiful. Another thing I like about it is it's got aperture priority. A lot of you guys who might be going from like a digital camera back to a film camera might appreciate this. Aperture priority on a manual camera is great. It's fun. You're not stuck to using like solid manual speeds like the FM2s. And also, another thing about these FE2s is that, I don't know if you can see the finder. It's probably never going to work. The finder is a matched needle, which means you can survey a scene and see how much over, how much under you are. And for a lot of people who are starting to shoot film, that is a great way to learn exposure. Having to see a little jumpy needle that puts you to the shutter speed you need to be at, or survey the surrounding scenes around it to give you an idea of what exposure you want. On a camera like the FM2, I think you get an overexposed and underexposed, and if you are a professional at it, you can kind of guesstimate by flicking the dials, but this is a simple point, and you can see the meter happen. It's a lot like best way to explain that metering is like driving with a digital speedometer. You don't know how fast or how slow it accelerates based on the numbers jumping in front of you, but if you're on a dashboard analog needle, it tells you how fast or gradually you're reaching up to speed or stopping. So kind of a loose analogy, but whatever. It's got so many nice conveniences like exposure compensation. So I think it's a pretty feature-packed camera. You can get pretty cheap these days, and they are solid. The batteries last quite a while. All the old guys used to bitch about the batteries running out, but like it's a little teeny thing bag of a, it's the size of like a quarter for these batteries, so you're good. So great way to get into shooting full frame film. I guess film's all full frame, but yeah, nice full frame camera. If you are looking for a used FE on the market, a lot of them seem to lose the rear eye pieces, but I never found it to be an issue. Even if it doesn't have one, they work great. Oh, FE2 does have one mechanical shutter speed, and it's right here. It's stuck to, I think you're stuck to like 90 if you want to use mechanical in case your battery poops out. But all in all, I think it's a great solid little camera for 35mm shooting. I think that's it. I don't know. I do have a bit of a gripe about full frame, and I think anyone who's like shooting a bunch of mirrorless cameras want to gain some full frame, want to know if they need to shoot full frame, grab one of these cameras and shoot full frame on a 35mm filter and see how it looks, because truth be told, like, I don't know if full frame is really just a look. This is my own little spiel on it. Full frame is really just a look. I come from this as a very like documentary standpoint, in that like I want a lens, I want a picture to convey information, and you know, you can shoot, if you picture this video screen being full frame and getting this bit in focus, and you get that lovely bokeh out of focus thing, whatever, around. It's great and all, but where is the information? This is your information. This is what you're focusing on. You are, you know, shooting a 36 megapixel fucking picture, and this is the detail you want chosen to record it on such a massive digital array. Are you fucking kidding me? What a waste. What a fucking waste. So, I mean, 35 gives you a great look, but it's pretty shallow, man. Digital pictures now are abundant. They're online. Everyone is taking beautiful pictures. You know what matters? Pictures that count. Pictures that convey information. Pictures that show a sense of composition, a sense of timing, a sense of mid-ground, foreground, background. And one of the benefits of even shooting some of these smaller frame cameras is that you can compress those into information a lot easier, because the sensor isn't needing so much light to get the depth of field that you need to convey information. So 35 full frame, great cameras. They're big, they're bulky, they're, you know, a lot heavier than the small point and shoots, but the small point and shoots convey information. The big cameras, you shoot it for a feel. And I mean, it is for most people that are strictly shooting digital that the full frame is going to be sort of your medium format equivalent of a film camera. But having shot medium film camera, and one of the reasons why people don't shoot, you know, larger format cameras in photo essays or even storytelling, is that it doesn't convey the information of foreground, midground, background very easily. So there isn't that interplay of elements in a composition, in a frame, in a story you're trying to tell. So that's my little rant. I don't know, 35. Oh, and the fact that you choose to shoot such a large format to retain so little information, I don't know if it makes sense as a functional photography. I don't know how long I've been recording. I think this went a little over, but this is episode 4, 5, 6. Talk to you later. Bye.